Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 178, the mold repair disc. And if you or someone you love suffers from mold or fungus or dust mite related ailments or is susceptible to this type of thing, as many of my friends and family members are, please listen to this episode. It is going to be useful for you and those people. Maybe pass it along. It's an important one. Hope you enjoy.
You're listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show. The statements and advice offered in this podcast are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition, and are not substitutes for prudent medical care offered by licensed medical professionals. References to healing or treatments in this episode are describing faith-based blessings performed by God and the master healing angels. Neither this episode nor any part of it may be copied, transcribed, distorted, sold, republished, or distributed without first receiving the express written permission of both the CMA International Foundation and Up and Awaken Productions.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical podcast. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci. Here to remind you, you are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. Enjoy it. This is season 8, Angelic Reformation, and this is episode 178, the mold repair disc, which is a shortened version of its full name, the mold, fungus, and dust mite repair disc. This season is all about the body of knowledge known as Angelic Reformation, as well as a look at each of its tools. Angelic Reformation is what we call the processes, tools, and rapid spiritual development work that has been presented through the teacher, Master John Douglas, by his companions, the Master Angels. It is about the intentional evolution of your consciousness without the use or necessity of outside substances or other interventions, such as drugs, psychedelics, plant medicines, therapy, religious dogma, esoteric rituals, etc. Angelic Reformation is about restructuring one's consciousness from being comprised of earthly human constructs towards one's universal divine structures, which contain the truth of matter. It is a set of spiritual development tools that anyone can choose to use alongside any existing spiritual practice, religion, or tradition, if desired. We are doing a whole season on this topic because the purpose of this podcast, in part, is to encourage a deeper understanding of the invisible and unseen world that affects us just as intimately as the visible and seen aspects, if not more. After 9 years of using the tools of Angelic Reformation, I found that each one has helped me gain a deeper and truer understanding of the unseen and unknown influences affecting us all the time, be they energetic, karmic, microbial, parasitic, demonic, angelic, or otherwise. If you have not yet listened to the first 2 episodes for this season, please go ahead and listen to episode 168, Angelic Reformation, and episode 169, The Evolution of Consciousness, before listening into this one, because they will provide you needed context for what we're talking about. Now, if you are ready, then let's get meta. Master Angels, I humbly request your presence, guidance, and support through this episode. Please help these words to be useful to all listeners on their evolutionary journey. Let me know the truth, speak the truth, become the truth, and be the truth. And please let this episode reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with full faith. Bless creation. As I said, today we are talking about the mold repair disc. As stated in previous episodes, angelic reformation contains a few different aspects. The processes, which are MP3s that are listened to and rapidly develop one's consciousness in various specific areas. The events, such as the spring and fall tour events and the advanced knowledge course, which all convey innumerable healings and blessings for the attendees, and the tools, which are physical objects like the repair discs and the personal pendants, which are imbued with numerous and specific healing blessings to help us in various ways. Here's a description of the mold, fungus, and dust mite repair directed prayer disc, direct from the website where it can be purchased at globalcma.org. Medical research has seen many people suffering with mold infections, unknown fungi, and infestations of dust mites in various parts of their bodies. Mold can be hiding to a greater or lesser extent in offices, restaurants, hotel rooms, homes, and food. Depending on body chemistry, mold can severely affect health in unseen ways, silently creating havoc in organs, joints, and entire bodily systems. Several kinds of fungi can affect kidney, pancreatic, and digestive functions in the gastrointestinal tract to hinder absorption and metabolism. Dust mites can be in many places: carpets, bedding, clothing, hair. These invisible bugs may cause irritated sinuses, breathing trouble, asthma, and allergies. Carpets can be sprayed with antiseptic to kill them in a home, but dust mites are difficult to get rid of once they enter the body. The Master Angels can target and eliminate many types of mold, fungus, and dust mites that affect the body. Suggestions for use: place the mold, fungus, and dust mite repair directed prayer disc on an aggravated area of the body for 30 seconds. The mold, fungus, and dust mite repair disc is made of a brilliant golden brass alloy, and it comes with a protective plastic case. Now, it is important to note that it does not matter if it is just the disc itself touching you or if it has the case around it or anything else. A listener recently reached out to ask me this after listening to our previous episodes on the body repair disc and the cold and flu repair disc. So I did not state that, I don't believe at all yet. So let me say it again. It does not matter if you use just the bare disc upon your body somewhere, or if it has the protective case on it. Many of us have other kinds of holders for it, whether it is within a plastic case or not. So none of that matters. No matter how you put it on, it will work. So don't worry about that. I have some that are bare. I have some that have the plastic on them, and I have some that are encased in other little round zipper bags that hold all three of them. And none of it matters. So whatever works the best for you in that will work just fine. It is the blessing upon the discs that matter. So before I share some of my own experiences with the mold repair disc, I am going to play a few testimonials from people who use this disc regularly. Please note that the second testimonial that is being read is by a volunteer and not by the person whose testimonial it is. There are many testimonials of these tools from people who choose not to voice them for various reasons, work-related or other personal reasons. So they're written down because they want them to be shared, because they're true and authentic, but they are read by another. And I will let you know when this is the case, as is with our second testimonial coming up here.
Salutations, everyone. My name is Dr. Legenia Bailey, and I'd like to tell you my experience using one of the tools called the mold disc. When I was growing up, I had repetitive ear infections and some trauma in my left ear. This ear is very sensitive to environmental toxins, and it's left me with a vulnerability. I call my left ear my moldometer, where as soon as I walk into a place that has mold, my ear begins to hurt. Throughout my childhood and adult life, it was very common for me to be on antibiotics to deal with secondary infections in my sinuses and ears due to this sensitivity. I started using the mold disc about 4 years ago, and since that time, I've not had the necessity to be on antibiotics. As soon as I returned home from exposure to mold, I placed the disc on my chest and asked for the master angels to activate the disc to kill mold in my system, including mold spores. I also asked the master angels to stabilize my mast cells and for the health rays of my aura to be filled with divine healing light and the sensitivity of my body and ears to mold and other allergens to be mitigated and removed. I'm so grateful to Master John and the master angels for making my life better. This sensitivity to mold has been a chronic thing since I was a kid. It's really wonderful to have the tools available to mitigate the effects of mold in my system and to avoid the repetitive use of antibiotics.
My work requires me to spend time in a lab where fungi are grown for research purposes. Initially, I suffered from fatigue and malaise in this environment. Wearing my mold repair disc on my chest has given me greater resistance to mold when I come in contact with it, and I am much more productive and less affected because of it.
Hi, my name is Jan, and I've been a practitioner of angelic reformation using these fabulous tools since 2014. I live in Long Beach, California, which has many great aspects, but one of the not so fabulous aspects is the constant humidity and therefore mold growth in my older Mediterranean home. I literally could not get through my day in the healthful way that I do without the mold repair disc. I keep this wonderful prayer tool on me 24/7, and when I come into contact with mold spores or just feel my mold allergies kicking in, I ask the Master Angels to activate my mold repair disc and to clear me of any non-beneficial life forms affecting me. I've felt this create miracles in my physiology on demand as I walk through my day. I really can't recommend the mold repair disc enough. It's a big help to me personally, and I'm so very grateful. Thank you, Master John, for giving us prayers on demand through these beautiful tools.
Another big thank you to Legenia and Jan for sharing their personal experiences with us today, and to Kabir for reading an anonymously sent mold disc testimonial. Thank you guys so much. So the mold disc for me, and it's just personal, it's my own makeup. I usually, when something is ailing me, I usually reach for the body repair disc or the cold and flu repair disc first, because that's what is usually befalling my particular body. I'm not as prone to mold, fungus, or dust mite related stuff as other people are. However, I think when I was younger, I really was much more prone to those kinds of things, especially dust mites. I had a lot of allergies and sinus stuff when I was younger. I seem to have moved past that karma as I've gotten older. However, that said, the mold disc is the one that seems to work immediately when nothing else does. It So just because it's not the go-to for me and my personal makeup and the things that I am most susceptible to, I have had several experiences where I place it on my chest because I'm having difficulty breathing or because there is something going on that just the body disc is not working, the cold and flu disc isn't working, my prayer requests aren't working, the processes aren't working. If there's a specific, if I'm playing health repair, for example, and asking for a specific symptom that I'm feeling to be cleared, that's not working. It's happened several times where the mold disc is what does it. And so for me, in my personal experience, it's just one that covers so many things that are unknown, or at least unknown to me. It was interesting hearing all of these testimonials just now because these are people who use this disc regularly, either because of where they live or where they work or what they are susceptible to. So these people notice this right away. For me, it's like, the body disc isn't getting rid of this thing. The cold and flu disc isn't. Let me try the mold disc. And then suddenly whatever I'm feeling, usually a breathing thing or a clearing in the head that needs to happen, that does happen because it takes care of whatever has been going on with me. Now, I usually don't necessarily, I get lazy. We have the ability, the people who practice angelic reformation and have taken the advanced course have the ability to dig deeper to find out exactly what it is that's been bothering them or making them suffer. And we're going to talk about this more later in the season. But we have that ability to go in and see what exactly is the frequency that is bothering us. Is it a cold? Is it a flu? Is it a dust mite? Is it karmic? Is it past life? Is it XYZ, right? So we have this ability. I'm lazy. And I mean, I'm lazy in the sense that if a disc can take care of it for me, that's where my curiosity usually ends. So where I could go in and find out more to see, oh, wow, was that a dust mite? Was that a type of mold? Was that a type of fungus? If I feel better, I move on with my day. And that is something that I think many of us who use these tools do and just take for granted that we have just encountered a miracle, as I've stated before on previous episodes in this season. We're just so used to it that we're kind of spoiled and unfortunately take these daily miracles for granted. So even though it would be useful to me and interesting to find out what exactly type of mold it is or dust mite or what was it that was causing me to not be able to breathe in deeply when I walked into that room or whatever, I usually just use the disc, and if it gets killed right away, I go about my business. I'm not suggesting that you do this. I think it's actually incredibly fascinating if you are someone who feels called to these tools, feels called to angelic reformation, who wants to dive in and find out more, who ends up taking our advanced knowledge course. It's really satisfying and refreshing, and just it expands your own evolution and your own consciousness to actually find out what it is that is befalling you, what it is that's bothering you. So it really is interesting to dive deeper. But if you're in the middle of something and you're having a bother and you use a disc and you feel better all of a sudden, which happens literally every day and all the time in this practice, in this community, then that's great. And you can move on with your life. So anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent just to say that this isn't my go-to disc for my personal use. but I do keep it on me all the time. I keep it with the other two, the cold and flu disc and the body disc, which are all the same size. I keep those 3 discs with me wherever I go in one pouch. I store all 3 of them next to each other in one little circular pouch with a zipper. And I also keep the food repair disc with me at all times, of course, to use for anything that I ingest in my body. And this has just become a way of life. It's to the point where I can't imagine not having these tools with me and using them all the time. It's just so ingrained. It's like breathing, but it's also like, I don't understand how the world gets by without them. But, that's just, anyone could say that about any kind of tool or practice or cultural thing or any kind of special thing that you have in your life that you can't imagine being without. That is what these tools have become for me personally. And, in part why I'm sharing these tools with you throughout this season. So I wanted to say one other thing. For people who are prone to sickness or illnesses derived from mold, this tool is completely invaluable. I'm sure there are some of you hearing my words and are like, oh my God, I need this. And I have those people in my family. I have those people as my friends. And even though it's not something that is, my go-to for other people, such as those who shared, it is. They use this tool all the time. So because of that, there is another angelic reformation tool you need to know about, these people need to know about as well, called the Home Harmony device. So while the mold disc is for the person, the Home Harmony device is for the person's dwelling. We will have a full episode about this tool later on in the season, but to those of you who suffer from mold-related ailments, I wanted to drop in a line about the Home Harmony device sooner so you can go check it out on the website sooner rather than later if it is calling to you. So it is called the Home Harmony device. There are 2 sizes of it. One is a travel size and the other is larger and would remain in kind of a permanent location in your home. I carry the travel size with me everywhere I go. I'm using it now. In fact, when I was sitting down to get ready to record this episode, I realized that I did not pull it out yet. I'm in a new hotel room tonight. I'm traveling right now. And so as soon as I was getting ready for this episode, I was like, oops, and pulled out my Home Harmony device to clear the air of mold spores in this hotel room. Not that this particular one, feels like it has mold in it, but it is something that I do wherever I go, just in case. So there you go. That's another tool for those that may be suffering from those types of illnesses. The mold repair disc costs $150, just like the other discs do. It never stops working. It is continually added to and updated when appropriate by the master angels without you needing to purchase another. I am going to leave it there for today. We will continue with another Angelic Reformation MP3 process in our next episode. We've just done 3 episodes on repaired discs. We're going to go back to more processes for the next few episodes. And as I've been saying, this is not a journey for everyone, this practice, but it is available to anyone interested. And why do I say that? Why do I keep saying this is not a journey for everyone? I guess it's just to reiterate my deep belief that there are many paths. This is one path of many. And much of the planet isn't even on a path. And when I say a path, I mean looking for self-development, spiritual development, looking to evolve your consciousness, looking to grow, right? Looking to transform. There's only a handful of the human population that is doing that anyway. And then out of the people that are looking for something more, wanting to grow, wanting to transform, wanting to evolve, there's many paths. And this is one of them. And I think I just reiterate that because it's important to know that this is one way to transform. It's a very powerful way to transform. And it's okay if it's not the way to do that for you. It doesn't mean that you stop looking. You continue to be open to whatever reaches out to you. No one is in this particular practice going door to door looking for new adherents. There is something here that people are meant to find when the time is right for them. Some people, this is something that is meant to just be stumbled upon, and it cannot be pushed onto anybody. We would never want that. Nobody in the leadership of this practice and organization is trying to find more people. Even doing this season of the podcast is not something that was needed or asked for by the leaders of this practice. It was rather something that I personally felt called to share myself just because of my own experience. I am not an influencer. I have never wanted to be one. And I strive to share this practice, this angelic reformation body of knowledge humbly and with the authenticity that can really only come from my own personal lived experience and those of the individuals sharing their own experiences with these tools, as you have heard throughout the season, without anything to gain by sharing it, truly. Use your own discernment. If this is calling to you, there is probably a reason that your soul knows better than your human mind can. And if not, keep checking back every few months, because eventually this season will come to an end and we will move on to new topics. Either way, as always, thank you for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up, and Awaken production and is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The Let's Get Meta podcast is inspired by angels and supported by angels. If you would like to be a patron angel of the podcast, visit patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.